Well, look who's here. Hi, Tom. You look like you've got something to say. Do you?
I certainly do.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Wow. So Tom was from another planet?
I guess.
It's good to be back.
Jesus Christ, what a surprise, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. Come this way a little bit so you're more in frame. Hello, everybody. It's Ross and Sam from Cultaholic Wrestling. Happy All Out weekend, everybody. Check out all of our usual content on the YouTubes. You know what to expect by now. We'll be back for a live stream as the show is going on Saturday night on this very YouTube channel. So come back here then. But as for now, let's do some predicting.
I've just got over All In.
First up, we have Willow Nightingale versus Kris Statlander with Stokely Hathaway, of course, in a Chicago street fight. Who are you taking and why?
I think Statlander, and it's simply because Willow picked the stipulation. Stokely left Tomohiro Ishii 1-4-1 Stone Pitbull reeling at Wembley with that massive, massive spine buster. And Kris just needs a dominant win, doesn't she?
Yeah. There's a little feeling in the back of my mind just after the way All In went that if Willow got the win again, that's definitive, we'll move on. But I just can't see past a Statlander victory with the Chicago street fight thing in mind.
The poo-housery, the room for it,
Yeah, hopefully they did the intro as well. The entrance with Stokely on the nice bed. It was so sexy.
Carried down on a sedan. Next up, we've got MJF versus Daniel Garcia. Who you got and why?
I don't know what it is, Sam, but I think the line that MJF said last night about Garcia unleashing something inside so strong.
He also said he'd put him in a wheelchair and send him back to his mum's bed.
Yeah! Up the mother's bed! I'm going to go for MJF just because of that line where he says, you've unleashed something inside of me that I haven't felt for quite some time. Something bad is going to happen to Garcia, and on top of that, I can't see MJF losing the big match at Wembley and then losing the big match at All Out as well.
Part of me, so I was thinking similarly, but I'm going with Garcia here because I just think if it's done, it can move on. MJF's not really going to hurt from another loss, I don't think. He's, he's not like Jericho, but he's a master of reinvention in the way that it doesn't really so much matter here. It means Garcia gets a dominant win over MJF after everything MJF did to him. And also, he's got aerodynamic new hair, which is going to be an unfair advantage compared to MJF, whose hair's going to slow him down slightly.
Let me tell you, it does. When you have a curly afro, it really slows you down. What about Garcia's future?
Well,
it's up in the air, is it not?
It is up in the air, but I think him returning at such a landmark statement at Wembley, that for me was always back.
Fair enough, Sam. Next up for the international title, we have Will Ospreay taking on Pac. Who are you picking and why?
I'm really sad here because I want it to be Pac, but it's going to be Ospreay, isn't it? Because if Ospreay loses it now, then it was just a hollow hometown victory. But it's also a hollow hometown victory where he'd be beaten by another British wrestler, which you kind of see, but at the same time, you got Ricochet coming in. Ospreay sitting in the press conference afterwards was saying all sorts of stuff like, well, Ricochet's got to go through a long line to get to me. Everybody wants to build back to that feud. We've had the little back and forth with them so far. Pac jumping him last night, leaving Ospreay in a bit of a state of confusion. It feels like he's going to pull out that win, but it's going to be a very, very hard fought match.
I agree with everything you've just said there and more. I feel like we are on the road now to Ospreay versus Ricochet at an event down the line. I'm glad they're not doing it straight away, because when you do it straight away, where do you go after that? Tease us a bit more, Tony. Tickle our balls and all that sort of stuff. But it is unfortunate for Pac at the time, and he was, of course, the one contender for the match at Wembley. He got shifted onto this show here this weekend, but I just can't see him winning.
He's got the BCC thing going on as well, so there's a lot more going on there. But I think, again, Pac's, everybody's going to love him, and he's going to be a dominant monster no matter what, and it's going to be a great match.
Oh, yeah.
The little back and forth they had last night, it was,
And the Shoot Hurricane Rana last week. Sign me up, Daddy.
Next up, we have Mercedes Monae versus Hikaru Shida in a match for the AEW TBS Championship, where Kamille is barred from ringside. Who you got and why?
I was about to say the cat has been set among the pigeons with that last bit there, but really the cat has been taken away from the pigeons.
And just put into like a cattery.
Cat box.
Cat box.
Cat box.
Yeah.
No, cat box. That's where Kamille is going to live at the weekend there. But just the fact that Shida hasn't really been built up too well, in my opinion. It feels like the person who's going to beat Mercedes Monae eventually is going to have to be built up and built up and built up, and like Mariah May kind of beating Tony Storm, and the moment feels right, but that moment is just not this weekend, in my opinion.
No, I think Shida is a hell of an opponent. It's going to be a great match, all things considered, going into it. But the little bit of build last night was great. But again, I just feel like Mercedes is such a landmark signing. She's doing wonders everywhere she goes. She's doing company woman. She's got the belts with her. She's spreading the positive message. It doesn't feel like there's been enough build here, and I think you're right in the way that it's going to have to be, to sort of challenge or rival that build for Mariah May, Toni Storm. So whoever it's going to be, I just feel it's going to be months away. Yeah?
James Hayter. It's got to be, but I do like the Kamille stipulation. Puts a little bit more jeopardy in.
She's going to get down there somehow.
In the cat box.
Yeah.
So next up for the Continental title, we have Okada taking on 3 unnamed opponents. The qualification matches are written down there, so pardon me while I look elsewhere. We have Orange Cassidy taking on Brian Keith. We have Lance Archer taking on Mark Briscoe. The Beast Mortis taking on Takeshita. 3 of those lads into the match with Okada. Who are you picking and why?
I know Takeshita it's dangling fruit, but at the same time, I don't know what it is. I think Okada, it just keeps him busy to have this title. It gives him something that, people can be constantly chasing him until the point we get Kenneth back and hopefully not working in the tag division, get him in the singles division, Jesus Christ. And then we can build again toward Okada Omega. So for me, it's just a case of, they're in like a hold pattern above an airport with him for me. And I don't really see any of the competitors other than Takeshita maybe having a chance of actually toppling him.
I don't know if it was just last night, but that little standoff we had after Okada's match against Cal Fletcher.
Off at each other.
Takeshita looking swole, looking so jacked. Oh my God. He was there looking at Okada. Okada was looking back at him. I was in love with what I was seeing. So I reckon Takeshita takes the title here in nefarious means, which means Okada's a little bit upset, but he's a heel, so that's fine. But eventually,
upset,
we go to a singles match down the line where Takeshita defends the title against Okada. That's what I'm predicting. Takeshita for the win in this match here, but he doesn't pin Okada, he pins somebody else.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yes, there's 4 men in the match. 3 can be pinned, 1 will win.
Next up, we've got the Young Bucks versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta for the tag team titles. Who you got and why?
Speaking of earlier on about Shida being a little bit cold coming into the feud with Mercedes Monae, it feels like the BCC in particular are quite freezing when coming into the tag team title match against the Young Bucks.
It's got like yeeted into it.
I know, just like last night. Oh, we need a Bucks match for the pay-per-view. Let's throw them in there. So I just think with that in mind, I think with the Bucks, with the run they're on, there's no way they can lose, because even if they do lose, I reckon they'll just add another 5 minutes on so they can win them back or something like that.
Now, I've been doing this for like 8 years now, predictions, on and off. And I know to go with head over heart, but I'm sick of the Bucks. I'm sick of the Bucks. Come on, Blackpool Combat Club. You're my guys. You can be trios champions and tag champions at the same time.
The great Yuta's going to pin one of the Young Bucks.
You're damn right he is.
What's your real rationale, Sam?
Ultimately, again, I feel like I like the Blackpool Combat Club, and for me personally, it's more heart over head. For me personally, I'm not a mega fan of trios matches, so for me, it's like transition them into the tag division, and then maybe Pat can be a bit free to do single stuff without having the dangling stuff, because Danielson's he's already away.
Yes.
He's 1 foot out the door, he's just got to lose, and then he's gone. So I think do a little bit of a shimmy there, have them drop the trios, and have them take the tag belts, and get rid of the Bucks!
But they could hold both titles at the same time. We saw with the Bang Bang Gang, I know it was 2 sets of trios titles, but they have set the precedent of having the trios champions hold multiple titles. So why not, Sam, I guess?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why, because the Bucks are going to win.
This is going to shoot me in the foot, isn't it?
And next up in what is not going to be the main event of the evening, according to those fabled dirty sheets, we have the world champion Bryan Danielson taking on Jack Perry. How are you picking and why?
Well, as much as I'd like to see Jack Perry just walk in and win it, he's just made his own belt. And Danielson, again, as I just said before, he's going to leave when he loses. And I don't see, in a year where John Cena's going to go on this huge retirement run.
Where's this going?
But the fact is, I think there's so many more matches, so many kind of little feathers and little pins to put in feuds for Danielson that I don't see him dropping the belt for a while, but when he does, he'll walk away. So for me, I'm thinking long term with it. I think it's going to be a hell of a match. I think it's going to be a showcase for Perry for sure, and it's going to be that kind of big step up to the absolute tippy top. But Danielson's going to retain.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be Jack Perry's best singles match since he's gone in the more singles-defined role. But I do think Bryan Danielson will come out on top. The thing that's got me questioning the result potentially is that John Moxley line from last night.
Yeah.
No matter what people say about you, young boy, I think you're a sweet boy.
He just likes the class.
He just likes the glass. We're not talking about the D-Rugs. We're talking about real glass and cars and whatnot. But yeah, what could that mean? That was a really throwaway line, but just the way that Moxie's going with being all sort of mysterious and saucy and whatnot, it feels like it could go somewhere potentially with Jack Perry maybe going with them. I don't know. Because Moxie's not on the card, is he?
No.
But you think he's going to be there?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Danielson's going to win. Danielson's going to win. Surely. Surely, Tony.
Please. Please, Tony. Next up, we have Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana versus Hangman Adam Page in a steel cage unsanctioned lights out match. That's just sellotape. A lot of words to the end of it. You know it's going to be brutal. Who are you got and why?
I'm going to go Hangman because I think it's fantastic that he's been driven to burning down Swerve Strickland's childhood home in one of the best wrestling memories of recent years or decades.
Swerve
I don't care.
Caused all of it. He can't be upset. He's the one that went home invading first. It doesn't. No.
In fairness to Swerve, yes, he broke in. Yes, he terrorised the child. But he didn't physically harm the child. He gave the child a gift. And Hangman...
I don't think Swerve's family were in that house when Hangman set light. Like.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I know Swerve did a bad thing, but it's not as bad as burning down somebody's house.
Well,
it's a bit unfair in the scales, I would say.
Maybe, yeah.
But just, I think it's wonderful that Hangman's been driven to doing that wonderful thing he did last night. But also, the fact that this now is a lights-out, unsanctioned match. Even if he does win, it won't really count. So I'm going to go for Hangman Page to win, and the fact it doesn't really count, bleed over, and make him, I don't know, burn down a town?
It's been so good, and this was just the cherry on top, but it feels like this is only like one cake in the batch of cakes that were waiting to arrive. This feud feels like it could really go on, and if they keep going the way they're going, I don't really want it to stop. Also, we both grew up in Northumberland. Fire makes me feel a certain way inside. It's a bit confusing, but you know when you see fire and you just get all excited and you're like, oh, I'd like to start a fire.
Yeah.
And like have an arsonist gimmick, that's never been done. I get over.
Okay.
Go on, Hangman Page, burn down more houses. Let's go.
Yeah, if you're a few with Hangman. Well, Christian, you got fathers as the subject area. Hangman just demolishes. He demolishes houses, Sam.
Yeah, it was basically Moxie from Auf Wiedersehen. He was an arsonist, but he was lovable, and he had a dartboard, so...
Game of darts with Hangman, you heard it here first. We're both going for Page in that main event. Let us know your predictions in the comments down below. As for that, their content I mentioned at the start of the video, pictures on the channel right now. Predictions is today. The Cultaholic Wrestling podcast is tomorrow on Saturday night. Tune back in for me and Sam watching the show live on this very Yocho channel. Click things in the description, apparently.
There are links, for the stream is going to be set up, ready to go, so you can get in there and just wait now, and then you can leave loads of comments.
Leave
loads of abuse. Ring the bell, but leave loads of abuse that we'll read when we start the stream.
Just keep our swear words out, Just keep the swear words out. And then obviously coming out the show...
we got to be careful. You know what I'm like.
And then coming out the show, what happened out with Jack and the news and all that sort of stuff coming out of the show. You know what we do here by now. I've been Ross, joined by Sam, and we'll see you on Saturday evening.
It's so good to be back.